You're almost a herd, I'm a real nerd. People say I'm a fool, but they never got the news that I'm a wild one. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel down, cause you're watching Wild Mike and his real wild child. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel down, cause you're watching Wild Mike and his real wild child.
Jafar, buy an SD game swap. Creed.
And I forgot to turn on my goddamn microphone and camera. Howdy, folks. This is Wild Mike here. And no one's watching. Well, hopefully someone will come up and I can't talk today. So, since I'm going to kill time, might as well have some fun. Because I'm going to play some of my shorts from this week.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Don't you agree?
Alrighty. Still no one's watching, but I don't know. I got nothing to bounce off of, so I'm just waiting for someone to show up. Well, hold on. I can play the other short real quick.
I'm the queen of horseshoes! Who will challenge me?
Hey. Only I clang horseshoes.
Are you ready to back that up?
You sure you want this?
Bring it on.
Let me finish my hot dog first.
Sure, no problem.
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, handsome.
All right, so if anyone's actually watching, they saw the end of the short. Can you tell me who or what show the last part of that video was from? What clip? Or not? I don't need the episode title. Just give me the show title, and I'll be kind of impressed. But there is a huge hint with the fact that, you know, the last second you see David Hasselhoff. So well, might as well tell you a little bit about my day today. I am looking for a new job because I had issues with my current one. I actually quit on Monday, and then they asked me not to the next day, saying, "Hey, we literally can't afford to have you quit. We won't give you a raise, but we'll cut your hours down, and that way I can work at another, or I can look for another job." and then wait for them to hire somebody to actually replace me. Could take a week, it could take several, because it took them several months to actually hire someone to take one of the territories that I was working on. I literally only finished training that person last week. So, in fact, the last 3 people I trained were only taking over areas that I was maintaining. That's how much coverage I was doing. So, today I had 4 interviews. I'm not going to tell you where I was interviewing for. One of them I'm probably going to get. It's a same thing I was doing already. And they're like, "Oh, you got the experience. You know what you're doing. You know." And they're like 90% sure I'll get the job. They'll give me the job. One of the other ones was for a assistant manager position for a medical caregiving company. The funny part about that one was I have like no experience in the medical care field, but I do have office management experience. And it was kind of interesting because I'm not the only one they're interviewing for the position, and they got 3 of us all sitting in the conference room, and all of them have experience in the medical care field, but none of them know how to run a business. Whereas I know how to run a business, but I have no, well, after the interview, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get the job, primarily because even though I know how to run a business, I don't know the ins and outs of that particular field. The other one, which seems to be promising, but I'm not sure if I actually want to work for the company, was it's basically a office manager for a bar, or like a restaurant manager type thing, but they're not really a bar in the traditional sense. They're a bar because they do serve alcoholic beverages, but they primarily sell supplements. And the whole thing is they mix the supplements into both alcoholic and like smoothie type drinks for people to buy. And I guess the manager that they had just quit, and they need someone who can actually run the business. But I didn't get that when I applied for the position. I thought when since the name of the place said bar, it was a bar. But no, it's more of a smoothie joint that just happens to serve alcohol. And 2, it's the supplement factor. The supplements are not like vitamins or anything like that. I'm not going to go into it too much, but let's just say the primary supplement that they sell and add to the drinks is one that is currently banned in 18 states, and it's not THC. So I'm not too interested in actually working for this company now. And the third one was, or the fourth one was a regular sales type job, more of on the management side of sales, but I'm still not really that keen on it, but it's the highest paying. So if I do get that job, I'll probably take that one. Out of those 4 that I interviewed with today, I've got more interviews tomorrow and even more next week. But, it is what it is. If I end up, it might actually end up that I'll have 4 freaking jobs in a couple of weeks. Both the place I want to quit from, a place very similar to them, at least in the type of business it is, still running SD Game Swap, and possibly another one. So that will be interesting. I got nothing else really to talk about unless someone else wants to bounce some ideas off me. I know I sent the link to Caddy and Elihu, but no one said anything yet. Caddy said, she's got a headache from cleaning, so we'll see if she actually shows up. The other kids, I'm not gonna send them the link. They just got out of school. Yesterday was their last day. So they're no longer freshmen in high school. They are now going to be sophomores. So, God, can't believe the year went so quick. You know, they say that your kids grow up quick. It's freaking true. I can't believe that they're already a quarter done with high school. But my son's last day of school is actually next week, so he at least has another week of school. And then, of course, he's going to summer school because he needs it. And the way their school is going to do it, it's going to be a 2-week break for his summer. Then he's going to have summer school for most of the summer, and then another 2-week break. So that'll be fun. The girls want jobs, but one of them doesn't have the grades because in their school you have to maintain a 3.5 if you're under the age of 18 in order to get a job. And one of them is like a 3.2, and no, that doesn't mean the school will let it slide. The other one has a 4.0, but she has no interest in actually getting a job. It's the other one. The one that, not the one that just turned 15, but the one that's 15 and a half. She's most likely going to try to convince me to keep teaching her how to drive. We've been doing that about once a week. I take her out, let her drive the car at a mostly empty parking lot. We did hit the street once, but it was just mostly to basically go the long way around the parking lot. That way she could at least stop at a stoplight and turn into the place again. We also, last time I took her out, we actually went through a drive-through. So she drove through a drive-through for the first time. Of course, it had to be Taco Bell because they love Taco Bell. And I let her order something just so she could pay for it and drive through and the whole nine, which was kind of fun. At this rate, my 15 and a half year old is going to be driving sooner than my 21-year-old. Yep, I have nothing else to talk about. If you're watching, say something in the comments. Tell me something you want to talk about, and maybe I can put my 2 cents in. You know, for the time being, since pennies are basically going to be phased out. I mean, that is technically something I could bring up, is my opinions on them getting rid of the penny, which will hurt a little bit because I am an avid collector of pressed pennies. And it's something me and the Vile Kids have done for a decade, or decades at this point. So I know there's a couple of places where we've gotten pressed quarters, but they're always more expensive, and it's not the same. There's something about the copper that makes the image on the pennies always pop out better than it does on quarters. Maybe it's because the quarters are, sandwiched so well, because it's mostly nickel and zinc and copper for a quarter nowadays. Whereas the pennies, even though it's only a copper coating, it's still mostly nickel and zinc. But so I'll miss that aspect, but I don't see the machines dying too soon. but it might be an opportunity to start getting as many as possible before those machines are phased out for something else, like maybe pressed nickels. I've never actually seen a pressed nickel machine. I've seen peso, and because Mrs. Viles got me some from Mexico, and as I said, pressed penny or quarters. But those are the only ones I've seen recently, or at least in the last 10 years. I say recently. But hey, if you're in the chat, tell me what you think about the pennies being phased out. Because, yeah, as I said, I'll miss the pressed pennies. I've got hundreds. We finally have someone posting something in the chat. How you doing, Wolfie? If you want to come on up, link should be pinned. And I've mostly been fine. A little stressed out. Tried to quit my job. But finer than a frog's hair. You do know that most frogs don't have hair. I say most. I'm gonna enjoy a smoke while I wait for you to respond or come up. Well, if that's supposed to be a line, because it reminds me of Jeremiah was a bullfrog, and and he always has a mighty fine wine. Sorry, I shouldn't be singing. But if no one comes up, I might end the stream early. I just wanted to do something since I took the day off for interviews and stuff like that. I think because I'm parked over by my place, but I think either they're practicing or they're going to be playing a game, because I live next door to. How you doing, man?
Not too
Just to
bad.
finish my thought. I live next door to some Little League fields. So there's a lot of people starting to park, and they were playing music earlier.
Nice.
So what's new with you? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, got mainly been streaming on Twitch, and that's about it. That and working again. And
Oh, what are you doing now?
I'm at Walmart again, but now I'm basically a door greeter. So, asset protection customer host. I check receipts once in a while, and that's about it.
Yeah. The reason I tried to quit my job, and as I said, I told them I quit on Monday. On Tuesday, they asked me not to quit. Is because of how basically fucked over Walmart is right now. One of my stores got a new manager, and I'm a manager. I mean, like the manager of the entire store.
Oh yeah.
And he's trying to, it's an underperforming store for its location and size. And he seems to think that he needs to make all these sweeping, drastic changes in order to, make things better. But the problem is, the original problems that the store was suffering, he's not addressing at all. There's broken fixtures everywhere, and he's not bothering trying to get those fixed. And I'm a vendor. So I go inside the store, I make note of the broken fixtures every single week. And when I tried to bring it up to him, he said it was my job to replace the broken fixtures.
Really?
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I can't order your guys' fixtures. That is literally your job. You are the only person in the store that can order new fixtures. And he goes, no, that's a you problem. You need to fix it. And I think he's referring to the fact that like a year and a half ago, due to our client and Walmart agreeing on it, Walmart and our client split the cost on the fixtures in order to make sure that their products fixtures were up to date and repaired. The problem is, like at this particular store, they needed like 30 new shelves and only received 8.
Oh yeah.
So a large amount of the shelves are still the wrong shelves for the product on them. And I've just been making do.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like,
Been there.
the other
done
thing is,
that.
at your Walmart, have they switched over to the digital tags yet?
Yeah, but I don't deal with that, so
Okay. One of the things I'm supposed to do is when I come into the store, I can, when the product changes each week, I'm supposed to move the tags. But the problem is I don't have access to their system, so I can't actually update the tags. The store needs to do that.
oh.
The manager was telling me, no, you need to do that. And I'm like, I literally don't have access to the system. There is no way for me to do it.
It almost
Well,
sounds
you
like he thinks you're an actual employee of Walmart.
I think maybe he thinks that vendors work for Walmart. Maybe because I have no idea what he's getting at, because every vendor that I talk to has been having issues with this guy. Like one of the soda vendors, I can't remember if it was Pepsi or Coca-Cola. Because of, issues in the back room, all their product, those types of products, sodas, beers, and everything have to be on the ground level, right? They're not supposed to be in the upper steel in the back room. Well, not only do they put some of their product in the upper steel, product that was part of a promotion that was pre-planned, supposed to be, right in the front of the store when it opens up. Their the walking stacker, the little tiny forklift they have in the back room, broke down. So they couldn't get it down.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, well, now you have, 6 pallets of, I think it was a combination of beer and soda, all sitting at the top of this upper steel. No one's able to get it down. And like his solution, according to the vendor I talked to, was get on a ladder and bring it down one case at a time.
And these are feature pallets?
These are featured pallets.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not talking about like 10 or 12 cases of product.
No.
We're talking like 180. And he thought, get on a ladder and bring it down.
Oh man, I knew I'd get a laugh if I stopped into your stream, but I didn't realize it'd be this quick. Oh, wow.
One of the things that also pissed me off about this guy is they have a janitor, one of the custodial people. He's quite obviously mentally handicapped to a point, right? I mean, he can do his job, but he can't do most other complex things. He can clean up spills. He can take care of the restrooms, pick up trash, that kind of stuff. I saw this guy berate this employee to the point where he was crying.
Oh.
Like telling him he needs to work faster. And I'm like, he works at his own pace. He does a good job. I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, the guy ended up walking away and just crying into the employee break room. And I wonder if he got in trouble for taking a break without clocking out or something.
You know,
So I really
sounds-
don't like this manager.
No, it sounds to me like you should call Walmart, or your supervisor or whatever should call Walmart and just tell them this is what's going on in the store. You know,
That's one of the reasons I wanted to quit the company I was working for, because I've complained to my supervisor multiple times, and she has done jack all.
So, yeah, you know, I'd call the customer service line 1-800-Walmart.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think I can now since I'm no longer a vendor. Well,
You can.
I'm not a vendor at
public,
that location anymore.
That's the public line to call corporate.
Yeah, but at the time, when he was berating the guy, it was in the back room.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I just, you know, I have short. What sort I want to look for? Short tolerance for that kind of thing. Oh,
but yeah,
But
I mean, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna scare you a little bit, Mike.
What did you do to your back room?
This is my bedroom.
Oh,
That-
damn.
Over my shoulder here is my dresser, stuff on top of it. But I got
Hold on.
LED lights up on my on top, and
Were you gonna rave in your bedroom?
yeah, I got 2 LED bulbs in the overhead, and they're colored. I can control the colors.
Yeah, I've got. I had similar things that I was using for the eBay store. The little tiny puck buns.
Yeah,
They come with a little wireless remote, and I would put them underneath the little white tiles that I use for pictures.
oh, there you
But-
go.
But the problem was those batteries died so quick. Eventually, instead of it illuminating the whole tile like red or green or something, it would get to the point where it just looked like there's 7 yellow or 7 red dots or 7 green dots underneath the product, and it looked weird.
Yeah, that's
And Mrs. Vile is at least watching. So howdy from Mexico.
howdy.
So any fun, interesting stories at Walmart from your end?
Well, over the years, yeah, we've had some really fun stuff over the years. I used to, you know, first time I worked for Walmart, I was in pharmacy, and yeah, it's like one night we had our pharmacy manager at the time was 27 years old, and a 80-plus-year-old woman walked up to him one day and asked him a question. Embarrassed the hell out of him. She asked him where the vibrators were at. She was looking for she was actually looking for a back massager. You know, little old lady asking him.
Well, I have a story, but I'm not going to tell that one. But another one I can tell you was I was doing a jewelry reset, but it wasn't really a full reset. It was mostly just new packaging. So part of my job was literally taking the jewelry out of the old packaging. I guess LDD just joined.
Yo,
I could tell when the
Hey.
background changed. How you
How's
doing,
it
man?
going, LDG?
hey, Night Breeze, what's up, dude?
Not much.
So I'm doing the
Man.
jewelry reset.
Look at you.
And-
Wait a second. I'm sorry. Wait, hold up. I'm sorry. Night Breeze. I love the disco room. The hell, dude? I'm loving this.
Yeah,
I've never seen this before. Is that an exit sign in the back? Is that like you in
No,
a club?
no, up probably that thing up on the wardrobe.
The
There's
ceiling.
there's a wolf, and there's a oh no, that's a pipe.
That ceiling? No, Vile Mike, are you seeing this? His ceiling looks like a commercial, right? It looks like a
Yeah.
commercial
No, it's just a-
ceiling, like you're
it's
at a
just a
freaking
suspended
nightclub
ceiling.
or something. That's
Nah.
funny, dude.
And these are just 2 GE bulbs, you know, LED bulbs
Yeah.
that I can control on my phone,
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
and I
Nice.
can
Yeah,
control
got
them
the-
individually.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Sweet. What's that over on your right shoulder, though?
Let's see. Oh, right over here.
Yeah. Is that? Yeah.
there's a
over there on the
wolf.
table.
Hold on a second. Let me
No,
get that.
no,
wolf
that's
for-
stuff.
Oh, that's
on a
stuff. That's
table.
my dresser. That's the top of my dresser. I got it
Okay.
cleaned, and I just.
I have not
this-
seen in his room before. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, the camera I was using on the rare occasion I turned it on, it was so digitized. You know, I rewatched a review I did for the Dragon Quest III remake, and
No.
yeah, you couldn't really see my face very well. But this year I got for house sitting my pastor's wife's dog.
Oh, nice.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Is
I'm
that
gonna-
made out of bismuth? It looks funny. Oh, sweet.
Yeah, but you know, kind of got both sides have some clockwork looking stuff. You know, now it doesn't actually move or anything, but yeah, I got that
That's
for house
detailed.
sitting or for dog sitting.
Nice.
Is it from something that I don't recognize, or is it just
No,
a
just
cool
something-
piece?
A cool piece they got up in Wisconsin.
Okay, cool.
Hey,
I mean,
hey,
it
Night
looks
Breeze.
interesting.
I love you, Night Breeze. Hey, do me a favor. You might want to move the freaking.
Oh
You
yeah,
might, you might.
moisturizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually is. I use it every once in a while on my psoriasis.
Yeah,
I
nice,
got-
nice comeback. Hey, nice
No,
recovery.
I got three. I got 3 psoriasis patches that get really sore.
Oh man, you're really
But
digging it in
that
now.
remi-
Yeah.
that re- the way LDG was hinting at that,
Yeah,
though, it reminds
I
me of an
know.
old joke.
Psoriasis.
A woman telling you that she went through a box of tissues watching a movie is entirely different from when a man tells you he went through a box of tissues watching a movie.
Yeah.
And thank you very
Exactly.
much, Daniel. If you want to come on up, by all means. But let me finish the story. So I'm doing the jewelry reset, and this woman comes up. She's a bigger girl, probably looked like she was in her mid-20s or so. Very well developed, okay? And she asks me if I could help her out with something, and I tell her, unfortunately, I'm not actually working. I don't work for Walmart. I can't help her because I don't have keys to the display that she actually wants to look at. But I said, someone will be back in like 5 minutes. So she's like, okay, I'll just wait. And she leans on the jewelry counter because she's tall enough, or she's short enough that, you know, when she leaned on it, she's, you know, got her arms on there and her breasts are just resting on the jewelry case. And she's sitting there on her phone going like this. And every once in a while, she'd, you know, adjust herself a little bit. And every time she adjusted herself, her shirt got pulled lower and lower and lower. And then all of a sudden, it couldn't handle the strain, and both her boobs just flopped right out onto the display case. And
Oh.
she didn't even notice. So I'm like, ma'am, your boobs. She looks down at her boobs, goes, whoops, just pulls her shirt back up, looks at me and goes, you know what? I'll just come back later. Now, that's not the funniest part. The funniest part is, like, just after she leaves, the Walmart person comes back, looks at the display case, and sees these 2 giant half-moon sweat stains on the display case and just goes, what the hell did you just do? And I had to explain to her, I had nothing to do with those. I'm also not going to clean them up.
Oh my god. Oh
Oh,
my god.
that's too good.
Mind bleach.
Oh,
All
I've got so many of those stories or similar stories like that.
I had a friend of mine that worked with
Go ahead.
worked toys, and she come over one day with one of those Trojan rings when those first came out, and somebody had
Trojan
put,
rings.
yeah, you know, the vibrating ring. And
Okay.
she like, yeah, look what I found with the Barbie dolls. Somebody take it and put it right next to the Barbies.
That is wrong. One of the other ones that was similar to the one I just told One of the things I had to do is I had to put stickers on product, like little coupons sometimes, or sometimes most of the time they were coupons. Sometimes they would be like changing, like covering up a mistake on the box or something like that. Well, I was doing that for some granola in the cereal aisle, and this lady walks up to me, says, "Excuse me, can you help me out for a second?" And I turn around, and there are these two massive beach ball sized leopard print covered objects in front of me. So of course my eyes are immediately drawn to those. And I start to say, "Oh, sorry, I don't work here," but I got as far as,
Yeah.
And her entire response was, "Thanks, they're new."
Oh God.
Oh, I have one thing to say to that.
And you were in Mexico when this happened?
No, this was a Walmart here in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I was gonna say.
No, let's see, what other stories do I have? When I was sent out to Arizona once, the store, it was in the middle of summer, store loses power. So they're covering all the, it's all hands on deck. So everyone is either helping customers out of the store because without power, there's no register, so they can't buy anything. And anything frozen, they're trying to cover up like the freezers and the open displays in order to keep as much cold air in as possible so that nothing spoils. So I asked the store manager, said, "Hey, I'm a vendor. I'm supposed to be building a certain type, a cereal display. Do you mind if I, still do that?" And they're like, "Yeah, fine. That's, it's away from what we're doing. So it'll, you're be on your own." That's fine. I go to the back room and I'm looking through the back room trying to find my cereal pallets. And I hear this crunching sound. And my first thought was, oh no, rats. Because this is Arizona. Rats are a big problem in Arizona because the heat. They like to come inside the buildings. And I turn a corner and I see a woman's pair of legs up in the air like this and a naked man ass between those legs. On my cereal pallet.
Of course.
So I immediately just turn around, walk right away, walk back to where the manager was, see her, say, "Hey, I'm not going to be building that cereal display after all. You got two employees having sex on it." And she goes, "Oh, I know exactly who they are. They're the only two that didn't show up for the all hands on deck."
Oh, wow. Yeah, we had a storm where weather got knocked out. I was working in Galesburg, and I was helping put the stuff on bunkers and everything. And just as soon as we got everything covered up, the power came back on.
Of course.
So we uncover everything, walk away. No more than we walked away, power goes out again. We get everything covered back up. Power comes back on. It did this for like an hour. Finally, after the last one, the store manager's just like, "Look, we're going to leave everything covered for at least an hour." Just to make sure.
Yeah. Definitely makes sense. Was there like a reason why the power was going out?
It was a pretty good thunderstorm, and
Okay.
with really good winds that day. It was regular wind, not tornado or anything, but there was power lines hitting other lines, and but yeah, that was hilarious. I did learn though that we have there's a 10 to 15 minute time frame that you can still run the registers.
It depends on if your store has internal battery system. Some of the stores do, some of the stores don't.
Oh, okay, because I know ours did, and it was not a big store. It's not a big city. But
yeah, from what I understand, talking to someone who went from Texas to San Diego, They said that their store actually had this giant diesel generator in the back area because they had tornado issues. So if a tornado took out power, they would still make all the customers leave, but they could start the diesel generator to make sure everything stayed powered and fresh. It mostly ran the refrigeration systems and like a couple other small things in there, not the Wi-Fi, according to him. So did your mic go out? Or I was like, did your mic go out, or are you just switching to the headset?
Oh, no, I paused it. I'm
okay.
using the headset. I gotta get a treatment. So I was coughing like crazy. I didn't want to cough over
Okay.
you.
And so, yeah, I definitely got some of those stories. What else do you got? What's another one of yours?
Oh man. Well, let's see. Trying to think of the ones that aren't terrible. Because I actually had somebody drop dead on me. But we had one where I ended up going home early one day because we had an entire shelf of perfume fall. The shelf just suddenly gave way. So I go there, guard the thing, called for maintenance, and here I am, asthmatic and all that, and standing there next to a big thing of perfume.
I definitely feel you on that one. One of our clients once was one of the scented candle companies, and anytime I had to do something in that aisle, I could barely breathe.
Yeah.
So the perfume, that's got to be bad.
Yeah. So I called maintenance, and they were cleaning up a spaghetti sauce spill in grocery. So there's going to be a little bit. Okay, so I'm standing there, and I'm standing there, and I'm standing there. Finally, an hour later, I called again. The maintenance guy went on lunch.
Oh, God.
It was going to be another 45 minutes before he came over there. I go around, remember management come over, and I walked up to my manager and says, I got to leave. I didn't even clock out.
It seriously dumbfounds me with the lack of personnel some of those stores have. Yeah. The store that I was talking about that has the issues with, remember I said how the walking stacker broke down? A couple of weeks before that, I needed to get a pallet down, and I come to find that at that time of day, we're talking 11 o'clock in the morning-ish, they didn't have a single person working the entire store that knew how to use it.
That don't surprise me.
And I'm like, how do you not have a single person knowing how to use it? And they're like, well, we only have so many people that are trained on it, because once they're trained on it, we have to pay them more an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so how much does it save you to not train somebody? It's like, well, we pay them 15 cents an hour more. I'm like, that is breaking the bank. You can't afford to have a couple of people working an extra 15 cents an hour.
Yeah, but it depends on the store too. Yeah, I mean, our store's gotten pretty lucky, but some of these stores, because of the theft and everything else. Yeah, I actually saw numbers from a store in this area that in theft and everything else, they blew the entire year's budget in 6 months.
Well, are you talking about shrink, or are you talking about theft?
Most of theirs was actual shoplifting.
Okay. Because go ahead.
But yeah, they had a huge problem. We had a little bit, and then last year we were down a lot in profits because we had a couple tornadoes go through town. So they had to replace most of the solar panels. They had to replace signage, replace. Oh man, it's probably 3/4 of the cart corrals had to be replaced. And then turned around, we got another windstorm like a week after that. So it did damage to what they just did. We had it was a bad summer.
I'll tell you one of the things that it kind of pissed me off because I'm looking at the news one time when one of my stores was closing, right? And I'm watching on Fox News, local Fox News, and of course they're reporting that, oh, this store is closing because of their high shrink costs, and saying that how bad it is that all this theft is occurring, and they're reporting the shrink numbers of theft. Now, the reason that really bugged me, because the store closed in January, right? A month previous, or actually about a month and a half earlier, in early December, one of our clients, it was Gillette, the shaving company.
Oh yeah.
And due to a store error or a store computer error, instead of 3 of the holiday displays pallets, they accidentally ordered 30.
Oh no.
So, as a vendor contracted with them, I was supposed to go in and facilitate the buyback program. So basically, I was told to say, look, Gillette will pay, return all the money, which ended up being about $300,000, to Walmart to ship return all the product. The only thing that they were requiring of Walmart is to pay the shipping and handling charges, which would have been about $5,000.
Yeah.
Instead, the store decided to pay another company, a hauling company, $2,000 to haul all 30 pallets to the dump of brand new product.
Oh, that is stupid.
And when they explained it to me, it was, well, on our taxes, we can report the shrink losses of $300,000 and get a tax break of $300,000. So our cost is only the $2,000 to get rid of it. Whereas if we returned it, that would have cost us $5,000. So what we did is we actually saved ourselves $3,000.
Yeah.
So when I see their shrink reporting number, I'm like, they're reporting $2 million worth of shrink losses, which again, they're saying is all theft on the news. But I know out of that $2 million, 300,000 of it was because they fucked up.
Yeah.
And they voluntarily fucked up.
Oh yeah.
And it also doesn't help that I know as a vendor, I literally throw away about $1 million worth of product every year per store.
Yeah.
Which is all reported as shrink losses.
Yeah. They of course. Oh, I do have another good story for you that happened to the store I'm at now. This was I was CSM.
Go ahead.
There was a chain. You might have heard about this about 4 or 5 years ago. There was a multi-state ring going on where these guys were going into stores, breaking into electronics, stealing iPhones, iPads, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 3 or 4 different states. It was Wisconsin, I think Iowa, Illinois, and I can't remember if there was another one or not. We were one of the stores they hit. These guys, I half respect these guys. They were true professionals. I wasn't there when it happened, but I heard about the video was described to me. They walked into the store, went straight back to the totes.
The back
they
room?
split up. No, they split up. Actually, one went to the just cardboard totes, on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Took one off the shelf, set it in the back in the cart. The other guy went over to the hardware, grabbed a couple crowbars. They went back to electronics, popped the door open on the case, and just started loading up the iPhones and iPads, and then right out the door. All told was like 3 or 4 minutes that they were in the store. $10,000 worth of iPhones and iPads stolen.
Oh, that sounds like sounds like a small amount of iPads though.
Yeah,
Some of those
it really
go for
is.
$1,000.
But they were hitting multi-states. I think when they finally got caught, it was a couple 100,000 total. The feds finally caught them.
Well, trying to sell that stuff on the secondary market is always a bad idea because all those electronics are tagged. So they know,
Yeah.
like Apple and Samsung and all those companies know what serial numbers are sent to what store.
Yeah, how are you going to activate them? You know?
Well, you'd have to have someone who knows how to jailbreak them, LDG, sorry, and sell them that way.
Yeah, but no, just the feds finally caught them. But it was, it happened. What was it? 15 minutes after I left the store that night.
I remember coming to a store once, and I'm because I was doing magazines and I was organizing the magazines at an empty register, which is what I normally do. And I'm confused because there's a whole lot of cops there. And I was like, I got to ask, what's going on? And one of the guy goes, oh, someone decided to go to the back of the store, grabbed a bunch of Pokemon cards. And here you go.
Hey guys.
Howdy.
And they
Howdy.
just loaded up a shopping cart full of Pokemon cards, went to the register, got frustrated that the register wouldn't work correctly, one of the self-service ones. So they decided to just fuck it and try to steal the entire cartload. And security was already, like their loss prevention was like, okay, there's a guy loading up Pokemon cards. We're going to keep an eye on this guy. They immediately stopped him. And the guy was just like, yeah, I was just mad. But yeah, he was trying to steal several $1,000s worth of Pokemon cards. And what amazed me most is the police response. They had 6 cruisers with about 1.5 officers apiece.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, that's what warranted. I'm like, well, it didn't really normally warrant it, but it was the amount of money it ended up being was like several $1,000s. So they needed that many people on deck.
Oh, yeah.
I'm seeing that a lot lately. One of my favorite actual live when cops bust people and stuff is Stellan's Footprints, which is a great channel if you haven't even had a chance to watch it yet. But I mean, there's just for me, what I call it is cop overkill. Okay, literally, like if they catch somebody, say at a Target or a Walmart, is stealing maybe a couple minor things, whatever, trying to go out the door with the card. You see like 5 or 6 cruisers, sometimes even 7. I've seen like all these cops come out of nowhere, going after this person like they're a terrorist or some shit. You know what I mean? It's insane. It's insane. And there's a lot of other channels just like that where they go overkill. I call it.
When I was literally, as I was coming back from my last job interview today, I was on the phone with Caddy, the eldest Vile child, and I'm about to turn on the freeway, and what's getting off the freeway was a line of cop cars. And I'm just like, first it was 1, then it was 2, then it was 3, then it was 4, then it was 5. When I actually told her about it, there was still only 3 there. But I'm like, what the hell just happened? Because they're not near any of the police stations or sheriff stations or anything like that.
No.
They were all they were all San Diego police, and this area is a police jurisdiction. But I'm like, what required coming off the freeway without lights on? There's no lights, no sirens. They stop at the freaking stop sign or the stoplight. That required 6 friggin' SUVs filled with cops.
Who knows? That is strange, though.
Well, it's weird that, like I said, it's weird that they have so many cops for maybe which is just a minor infraction. It's not like somebody's gonna go in and try to shoot up the place, But it's just
it's funny you can say that. Within 20 minutes of my high school school shooting, which happened back in 2001.
Yeah.
Do you know how many cops showed up within 20 minutes?
How many?
2
Just 2?
within 20 minutes. Do you know? That's not including the because this was after Columbine, so we already had a sheriff on site at all times.
Sure.
So that's not including him, and it was not including an off-duty officer that happened to be at the school because his son the dad needed to go to the office to deal with their son.
Right.
So,
Hey guys, I don't mean to be rude, but I gotta let you guys go. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure to hang out with you guys.
Good to see you again, LG.
Always,
Great
man.
to see you, LBG.
I thought I
Love
could
you
do that.
guys.
Later, man.
Yeah. And, hey, since you mentioned her, how is Caddy doing?
Yeah.
Oh, she's okay. I'm still I'm getting on her ass about the job issue because she's been jobless for like 6 months now.
Holy shit.
And
6 months?
my big joke was, I've been looking primarily for a job for 2 days now, and I've had I got 6 interviews, 4 today, 2 tomorrow. How many do you have? 1. You got to get on it. You got to be out there looking.
How old is
21.
21. Wow.
That ain't right.
The Vile Style, the youngest Vile daughter, it was her 15th birthday on Saturday.
Right.
So I will play this clip real quick so you can see one of the things we did.
Son of a bitch.
Run! It's cool!
Happy birthday, sweetheart!
So worth it.
That's your 15-year-old? Wow.
Yep, newly minted 15-year-old.
You know she's going to break some hearts. You know that, right, Dad?
Yes, and it doesn't help that she keeps flip-flopping between dating girls and dating guys.
Whoa! Yeah. Okay. That's difficult. Okay.
She's her last.
I would not want to be you right now. Then
the last one she dated was a girl. The one before that was a boy. The one before that was a girl. The one before that was a boy. So that means the next one is going to be a boy based on pattern.
What, so is this the 2025's version of experimentation with people of the opposite sex?
I guess. As long as she's happy, I'm not going to care. But if anyone touches her inappropriately, I'm going to shoot them.
No, Mike, I didn't mean that at all. What I was saying is she's happy, right? And then as long as she keeps her grades up, right? Because when she reaches 18, you kick her ass out the door.
Oh, she's got a 4.0 right now, so she's good.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
But,
so fine.
No,
Yeah.
hey, if anybody touches her, Vile, just give Caddy her phaser.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I might as well play that clip too.
All right, you're 19 years old now. I figure it's about time you got one after all your complaining.
Oh, I totally forgot about that video.
That still makes me laugh. You give her her own phaser, and she goes ahead and puts it on kill and phases you. Oh man, that's hilarious.
I don't have it in the car anymore, but one of the things I picked up recently is a blaster, a Star Wars blaster from Star Tours from the 1990s.
No way! From the original Star Tours as part of Disneyland.
Yeah.
Holy fuck!
Check this out. I found it at a thrift store, and it did not have a price on it. So I asked how much for it, and they were like, "You know what? We don't know. We'll just give it to you for $1."
Oh my god! $1?
On the secondary market, it only sells for like $20. So it's not like it's going to be worth a whole lot of money. But
Well, sometime it will, because once they redo all the movies again. So.
Oh, and Daniel, that's actually hold on. Since Daniel said that, it is a TOS movie era phaser.
Yeah,
it's not a TOS show era. But it's still pretty cool. So I want to do a video, basically where I make a joke, Han Solo-ish. Fancy weapons aren't anything compared to a good blaster by your side, and I miss every shot. She pulls out her phaser and shoots me again with the phaser.
Yeah, well, that'll be cool.
But now that I'm working so much less, I can start making videos again. In fact, after this, I might be working on a video for the rest of the night, trying to get it out finally.
Oh, cool. Hey, Daniel, come and say hello. We got the StreamYard. Our Bio Mike's got the StreamYard there at the very top. If you want to pop in for a few minutes, he's got some really interesting information about Matrix 5. Says they're already doing the script for it. They're writing it. And I went to check and confirm that they're actually in pre-production for 5. And I'm like, what the hell? Like,
Wait, What? Start over. What are they working on?
They're working on Matrix 5. They're working on the writing, and I went to confirm it, and it's confirmed that Matrix 5 is in pre-production. They're already just writing the script and everything else.
Well, hold on. So they're not going to go with the script that the sister who made number 4 already wrote, right?
Right. They're not going to go with Lana. No, they're going to go with something else, though.
So does that mean the Wachowskis are fully out?
My guess is yes.
That kind of sucks. I know LDG just left, but I really liked Matrix 4.
I didn't mind Matrix. Yeah, I didn't mind Matrix 4, Vile. I mean, we've got all 4 Matrix films. We have the whole set. You know?
For me, the idea of the Matrix is as a whole, is a commentary on meta storytelling, because you have the layer of the Matrix, then you have the layer underneath it or above it or whatnot that is the real world, where everything's actually happening. So anything that's in the Matrix can be very meta narratively written, because it is a world that can be rewritten code by code, both by the protagonist and the antagonist to an extent.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I've only watched the first 2.
Okay.
Oh, you need to watch 3 at least, dude. Yeah, 3. Matrix 3 is good. Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan. So Matrix 4 is almost entirely meta-narratively written while they're inside the Matrix, but on the outside of the Matrix and as the movie, they're commenting on real-world things through that lens of real-world Matrix, where the stuff they're commenting about in the real world is what's happening in the Matrix, and it's also what's happening in our real world while watching the movie. I thought that was fucking brilliant, and I loved it.
Yeah, because the story itself is like movie within a movie within a movie. It's like a 3-pronged attack. And LDG may not like it, but I asked him, I said, well, was that because Neil Patrick Harris was the villain? Like, the man's gay, we know this, but I mean, come on. I mean, I thought he made a decent villain.
They made Disney the villain. Nice.
Yeah. You should see it for sure, man. Or, if you do like Neil Patrick Harris from How I Met Your Mother and all the other stuff he did, with the White Castle, those guys.
I think he's a great actor.
Guantanamo.
Very
comedic
I mean,
he's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
With
I think he's
Kumar. Yeah. So, I mean, go, like I said, if you haven't seen the other 2 night, go ahead and watch them both. And I say get them. I mean, buy them. Go ahead and buy them, because they're going to be worth something down the line. When people are starting to make all these ridiculous, even more ridiculous sequels, and you look at your 4 original Matrix and you're going, oh, yeah, that's when movie making was good. That's when it was.
Well, I can tell you, as someone who has sold Matrix-related stuff in the past, I don't have anything right now, but like the Path of Neo game, every time I get that, especially on GameCube, that game will sell like that.
Yes. It definitely
It may
will.
not be.
That was a good
It may
game.
not be more than 40 or so bucks, but it'll sell quick.
Yeah. So Daniel, maybe you could tell us, have they said anything? My understanding is they're not going to have the Wachowskis at all involved in this.
Yeah, I think they got rid of them.
All of them then, including Lana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the fourth one didn't do so well, and they were all blaming Lana Wachowski for it because they're like thinking she sabotaged.
That's an
her movie.
understatement. It didn't do very well at the box office, but I liked it. I did.
I
buy
liked
it.
it.
So,
I mean, I don't see what the problem is. You know, people are complaining all over the place.
well, it could be because the Wachowskis trusted, evil sister who said, "Oh, I could do this. I can do this just as good as you guys." So,
Well,
I'll tell you the biggest problem.
Lana was one of the guys.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
I knew that. Oh, I knew
I
that.
had- I had to explain that to somebody else who didn't understand what I said. The sister did it.
No, I understand. No, I understand that she was executive producer for the other three that the brothers were able to put out. Have very good movies. I have to say, for me, the first four films, the most action-packed one is obviously Reloaded, the second one. It is fantastic. I have never seen such great action on screen in a lot of other films, and believe me, that and you guys knew this, right? It was a brand new freeway, and they were going to use it outside of Oakland, California, in Alameda somewhere. And that's where they filmed all the chase scenes and the cars and explosions, all this stuff. And I was like, wow. And I mean, they have the same kind of freeway, which is I don't know, Viola, have you been up there in Vegas? You know where you come in?
I've been there plenty of times.
Well, it's part of the 15. It's part of the I-15. So it's like brand new freeway. Stuff that's been created out there. That's what I saw the last time I was out there in Vegas. That was a few years ago. But I
thought they filmed that in Australia, though.
Australia?
Yeah, that's where I thought they
didn't
filmed it.
Australia. No, I thought they filmed it in Alameda, outside of the.
Unfortunately, since I'm streaming from the phone, I can't look it up. But someone's got their computer.
Yeah, well,
Because if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. And go ahead while he's looking it up, Daniel. You talk more about 5 because I until he brought it up, I had no idea anything about 5.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
let's see.
I think Drew Goddard is directing it. They got Drew Goddard to direct it, which I think is a good choice. And
Yes.
I hate to interrupt you already, but can you tell me anything he's done? Because I don't recognize him as a director.
I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly, but
okay.
But anything could be better than the last one.
Okay,
well,
so
the last one, the storyline was great. Maybe the directing could have been done better at times, but the humor and the writing was on point. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Okay, I was right. Some of the freeway scenes were filmed on the Nimitz Freeway outside of Oakland, California. It's actually in the town of Alameda, but it's like that's where a lot of they had like a brand new strip of freeway, and they were like filming from that, doing all the explosions and everything. The actual White Bay Power Station in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, is where they had the power station explosion.
That's where I probably got confused about.
So wait a second.
And then the car chase tunnel, was right there. It's called the Webster Tube in Oakland, California. It comes just as like before you get it. They had that earthquake a long time ago. Then they rebuild everything. And this is supposed to be a new way that comes into before you get into San Francisco. It's part of the Bay Bridge and the the 680 and all that. So that's what the famous tube is, and that's where they filmed some of that. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
So Drew Goddard, he wrote
Alameda.
Wait. Yeah. He casted and wrote for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel,
Okay.
Lost, The Martian, the 2015 Martian. And
the one with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you talking about Drew Goddard, Daniel?
Yeah. And
he did he did me and Suzanne's most awesome movie. We consider this the best movie ever made. The Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the
Okay,
Woods.
so he's got some directing and writing chops. Okay, so I'm not too disappointed so far.
Yeah, and Cloverfield. And Cloverfield.
And Cloverfield. Yes, that's true. Yes. Which, by the way, I wish they would do a third one. They've only done. Oh no, they've done 3. I wish they would do a 4th one.
Technically, they already did.
Did they? The 4th one?
Yeah, but it's not called Cloverfield. They decided to change the name because how bad Cloverfield 3 did on streaming.
Paradox.
It's not. It's oh god, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a Nazi movie where basically Nazis discover this black goo that can reanimate the dead.
Wow.
God, I can't remember the name of it.
I think I know the one you're talking about. I don't remember the name either.
It's got like a 1 or 2 word title. But yeah, it was originally going to be a Cloverfield movie, but they decided against it. And in fact, from what I guess Cloverfield 3 was saying on their little montage, that's where they introduced the idea of the black goo in a little montage.
Wow.
So, but it's oh god, I can't remember the name of it. I can't look it up.
Yeah, see, I feel bad because we own Cloverfield and we own
Overlord.
10 Cloverfield Road.
It hit me. It's called Overlord.
Overlord. Okay.
And it's actually a really good movie. Go watch it.
Okay, Overlord. All right. Yeah, we own
But I
the
think
first
it's
few.
only on Netflix.
Oh, well, we don't get Netflix. We don't use Netflix. We wait till it comes in Walmart, like about 6 months down the line, then we go get the brand new movie or whatever comes out.
Well, don't worry about it. I'm sure it's also on other streaming. I just think that Netflix is the one that paid for it.
Right. Yeah,
But
like
yeah,
I said, we have the first 2. Yeah, we have the first 2, but we don't have Paradox. We're trying to get Paradox. I want to get Cloverfield Paradox.
I haven't actually seen Paradox. It's the only one I didn't really care to watch. But
okay.
But as I said, it's really funny that I ended up watching Overlord without even realizing it was a Cloverfield thing. But after I watch a movie, I go to TV Tropes and I look up the tropes.
Yeah.
And it was in the little trivia behind the scenes stuff. They're like, yeah, this was supposed to be the 4th Cloverfield movie. And I'm like, wow.
It was supposed to be, but it didn't quite make it, huh? Wow.
And one of the things I hate is when I watch a bad movie and I look up the TV tropes only to find there are no TV tropes for it yet.
Not yet. Well, speaking of movies, there's Suzanne and I, we just recently saw Final Destination 6 Bloodlines. Fantastic. And you know why? Because it closed everything. It was perfect. Closure. Spoiler alert, everybody dies. And there's the most deaths. Like it's over 50 people that die in this last film. And it was all because of a penny. A little American penny. A copper penny. Was the beginning of why everybody else died in the other 5 films the way they did. Yeah, a copper penny. And I own a copper penny. It's so weird.
I hate the fact that you spoiled it for me, but I do plan on watching that movie regardless.
Just to let you guys know, you can watch Overlord 3 on Canopy.
On which one?
Canopy, Kanopy.
Canopy. Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I just looked it up online to see where you can stream it on, and that's the only one that listed free.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mike, I'll just tell you the basic plot is that back in the 60s, there was a place they called the Skyview. It looks like something out of Space Needle. Okay, it kind of looks like the Space Needle in Seattle or the CN Tower here in Toronto. And basically, what happens is the very first person who gets a vision of what's going to happen, her name is Iris, and she sees this kid who has this American copper penny, throws it into the wind, and they said, it might hit somebody, and all this other stuff. Well, the penny gets lodged into one part of the thing, and that's where all the hell happens. Everything goes crazy. And the thing is, after she had her vision, she saved all these people. And these people ended up having their own lives, right? Lives they weren't meant to have because of Death's design. So because of her heroism and how she saved and how she shut down the place after only opening day, the other 5 films all go from that point. These are the families that weren't supposed to survive, and they all have their kids, and then they have, you got the airplane, you got the logging truck on the freeway, you got the roller coaster, you got the racetrack, and then you got the bridge. And all of these people were not supposed to live. And this number 6 completes it all, closes it perfectly. So you should definitely go see it.
I said I definitely have plans to see it, one way or the other. Might have to wait till it comes out on digital, but
Yeah. Well, we want to get it as soon as it comes out on DVD. It won't take long, a couple months, and then it'll come out probably in the fall. Yeah, I told Suzanne to go ahead and buy it and get it as soon as it comes out. It was done so well, and that was one of the last films that the great Tony Todd, rest in peace, for Candyman fame and all that stuff, and Kern, in Star Trek. He did this wonderful. Okay, so he's apparently moved on from where he was an undertaker, and he's in the hospital. He's working on a special ward or whatever for victims, and the family, the very final family, bloodline family that started it all, and now it's down to them. They're the only ones left, and they all come in. He says, so when are all you supposed to die? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. And at the time he did the scene, he was going through his own personal tragedy. He was going through his stomach cancer, stage 4. So he's suffering this whole time through the whole shoot, his whole scene, all of his scenes he's doing. And it's just this one little blip, in time, like about 10 minutes. And he's going through lots of pain, but he's doing a lot of improvisational lines, which they said, okay, we're going to keep that in him because this guy's done all our other 5 films. So, he's great. So he just goes through all that, and then he leaves, and he says, I'll be seeing you soon. He says that one last time, and then he goes out the door. I'm like, oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me, have you ever seen the Hatchet series?
Hatchet series? No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, it's like it's made in the 2000s, 2010s era. There's 4 films: Hatchet 1, 2, 3, and then the last one is called Victor Crowley.
Okay.
One of the coolest parts is in the beginning of the first Hatchet movie, Robert Englund plays a character who gets killed.
All right.
Tony Todd plays a character who comes back to get killed in the sequel. And Victor himself is played by Kane Hodder, who, if you know anything, played Michael Myers and most famously Jason Voorhees.
Voorhees, yeah. Hodder,
you essentially have Candyman, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and Jason Voorhees all in the same movie.
Hatchet, right? It must have been straight to, was it a movie franchise that went straight to video?
It may have, but and it's very low budget, but it's got some of the most inventive kills you can imagine.
Oh, sweet.
And the fun, one of the funnier parts, when we were talking about Drew Goddard earlier, we mentioned Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Right.
Do you remember the character Mercedes?
Yes.
The one that ends up becoming Spike's girlfriend, the annoying one?
Yes, I remember her, yes.
She's in that film in the first one, and she does a topless scene.
Oh, of course.
And what's really funny about it is in the sequel, they show again the same topless scene, but it's like now it's on a video camera. So they literally tried to reuse the same nudity from the first film for the second film.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah. Well, it's like this. I'll just say one other scene. Hopefully, it won't ruin it for you. But Iris, okay, I told you she's played by a beautiful actress named Brie Basinger, but it's not. She has no relation to Kim or anybody like that in Hollywood. She's her own lady, She spells her last name with 2 S's, not 1, like Kim does. And so she's the '60s Iris, and then they get to an older lady that's Iris. and they go to her place because some people are starting to die in the immediate family, this last bloodline. And, you know, she's been in this house for 20 some odd years, isolated from everybody. She even saved, that's why you have John, you know, Bloodworth, played by Tony Todd. He was saved as a little kid from this Skyview thing. So even he is vulnerable. He's not supposed to be alive. You know, he's also part of Death's Design, but he never told anybody that he was a part of it. But whenever he said, "I'll be seeing you soon," that was foreshadowing this movie that he was going to die eventually. And so Iris comes out of the house, and the first thing that hits her is a weather vane. It goes right through her mouth, just like from the back of the head right through the mouth. So original. I was like, holy crap. Oh, man. There's one other guy that dies. You know those the springs that are inside a vending machine? So one of those springs from a vending machine cracks the glass, goes through it, and goes right through this guy's mouth. A whole vending machine spring.
Don't give too much away. As I said,
I'm trying not to. I'm sorry, but it's so good. Really is, Mike. Really is good.
And that
they use
movie,
that. They use more. Oh, I'm sorry,
well,
Mike. I'm just gonna say they use more practical. They did use only 2 CGI studios, I believe. The rest were all practical and visual effects. So yeah, Bloodlines is really good. It's done really well. Yeah.
But
go ahead.
Okay, that movie Hatchet you were talking about.
Hatchet.
You can watch it for free on Roku, Hoopla, Prime, Fandango at Home, and Plex.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah, it's cool.
It's a good series. As I said, the first 3 are all low budget. So
I have to check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, the next film we want to go see is Ballerina from the world of John Wick, and Anna de Armas. You know, she does all of her own stunts and stuff, and she meets up with John. You know, eventually Keanu Reeves sometime in the movie. That's what I've seen from the trailer. You know, the teaser and the main one. I really do want to see it. I think it's going to be good, and it falls right in between. It's perfect. It's one of those filler movies that can stand alone, but it stands right between Parabellum and the John Wick 4. So I was like, yeah.
What's really funny is the first time I saw John Wick, the first movie, but this was before there was any sequels.
Right.
I thought, what a stupid movie.
Aww.
I thought, yeah. I'm literally like watching. I'm like, it's just dumb action scene after dumb action scene. There's nothing really going on. I got the only character I liked the entire film was John Leguizamo's character.
Yes.
And everyone else, I thought, this is such a stupid movie. Why is everyone liking this so much? So I decided, which I don't normally do for a movie, I thought I didn't like the first time. I went back, and this time I watched it on its own merits as a straight up action film, regardless of anything else, not comparing it to like a sci-fi film, not comparing it to a romance or a comedy or anything like that, just as a sci-fi or action film.
Straight up action.
And I started, I'm like, okay, the fight scenes themselves are telling the fucking story.
They are.
And I didn't realize that the first time because I was just watching it as an action scene. Once I got into it, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, they're explaining more and more about, his motivations during the fucking fight scenes half the time than anything else.
Well,
and the way he's doing things, the reason he's actually feared. And I'm like, wow, this is actually a good movie. It's one of the few times I can actually say my opinion of a movie drastically changed on a second watch.
That's cool. Yeah.
Well, what I liked most with the way that John Wick was filmed is the build-up.
Yes.
Because you don't know who John Wick is, but everybody seems to fear this guy.
Oh yeah, because he's Baba
it's like
Yaga.
with that
He's the boogeyman.
phone call where he stole John Wick's car, sir, and killed his dog, and all you get is, oh,
you killed his puppy.
Yeah, do
you remember that from the second one where he says, and he killed his fucking puppy.
But just when Vigo just goes, "Oh," like that, it showed so much in just one word.
You remember not the Geico commercial? What was that one guy from his Vigo's back?
Oh, Mayhem. The
that was
guy.
Allstate. That's it.
Yeah.
He was in all those Allstate commercials. I said, "What the fuck this guy doing in this movie?" He says, "English Vigo, please."
His name is Lance something.
Yeah.
And then I just love the fact that they got Kevin Nash to as that doorman.
Yeah.
That was
Kevin Nash, right? He says, "Like, you want to go away?" And yeah.
And then they had they double called back on one because Vigo talks about him killing the guys in the bar with the pencil.
Yeah.
Well, when John Wick goes to the airport and that guy opens the gate for him, the book he's reading is where that comes out of. The character in that book kills 3 guys in a bar with a pencil.
With a pencil. That's where the whole. And then he does it again. Remember in Parabellum? He's going to the airport and some shit or somewhere downtown. That lady with the violin attacks him, and then he goes nuts. He kills her, and then he comes over, and these 3 Asian guys all jump him, and he finds the pencil right on the countertop and to play with the pencil. I'm like, oh my god, yeah. And you know what's great about the action sequences? They're so funny, but the way that they're arranged, the way that it all comes together, like Mike said, and it does tell a story because. First of all, we do realize that he's a part of the Russian form of the High Table. He's feared by everybody pretty much, and they all want him to be dead, somehow. And then, of course, after he gets his revenge for the puppy and his wife and all this stuff. And then he goes into the second one, and we all know what happens in the second one where, he goes into the Continental and point blank just takes out, the Italian guy, and so he's marked for death. And then Parabellum is like, he goes to war and everybody's going after him. It's just insane. And you know what? I gotta say, one of my favorite new actors is Bill Skarsgård. I mean, this man has played Pennywise. He played Count Orloff in Nosferatu, and he plays the bad guy in John Wick 4. The head of the table. And I'm like, oh crap. And then you have, Clancy Brown. You brought back Donnie Yen. I'm like, Donnie Yen. I mean, like, whoa, blind man. But I mean, and he was in that, the Rogue One. He was a blind Jedi guy. Remember? And he was like, yeah.
Well,
so
he wasn't a Jedi, but he believed in the Force. But speaking of Jedis in the Force and Star Wars, I'm going to take a small break from our sponsor.
Avoid super battle droids, but not the super deals at SD GameSwap.
Was that the real Bernard Bolin?
Yeah, he recorded that for me.
Nice.
Very nice.
I like the Mandalorian. Yeah,
I have 3 ads that I play during the normal CNA stream. Manu from Voyager, Icheb, does one. Simone Bailey does one from Stargate, and then he does it from Star Wars. So I've got 3 of the major Star properties: Star Wars, Star Trek, and Stargate. I need someone from Battlestar.
Good luck trying to find anybody left alive from the original Battlestar Galactica. You might have to borrow from the reboot.
That would be fine by me. I enjoyed the reboot except for the ending.
Yeah. Oh, you know who you could borrow from? I got your perfect Battlestar Galactica person, Katie Sackhoff, who played Starbuck.
I don't know if I can afford that. Katie, that's the whole issue.
What?
I don't think I can afford her.
Katie's inexpensive, dude. I'm friends with her on Facebook. If you want, you can I'll send her a message to her channel or whatever, because she would love to. I know she would love to do it. I know she would. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say no if you want to put in a good word.
I'll put in a good word.
Considering how small my eBay store is.
Yeah. Well, you also need let's see. Yeah, you did Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate. You can do Katie with Battlestar Galactica, the reboot. Shoot. Who else could you get? Because there could be another star thing you could do.
Elihu for years has been trying to get Greg Proops to do one. Probst, or however you pronounce it, because he was one of the announcers in Star Wars too.
Greg Proops, yeah.
I told him, I messaged him on Twitter saying, I'll donate, $100 to your favorite charity if you record something for me. But he never got back to me.
Well, you know what? Do that for Katie. Katie would do that. She would do that. Yeah, she's got a few charities of her own. So, yeah, try to reach Katie. Okay, Katie Sackhoff. She'll do it. She'll do it.
I'll check Cameo too. Maybe they got if they're on Cameo, sometimes I can get it. Recently, I tried to get Roger Jackson to do one.
Oh, okay.
But his publicist declined at the time.
Oh, all right.
But if you know Roger Jackson, he does he's Ghostface. He's the voice of Ghostface. What
Ghostface Killer, right?
Yeah, he does the voice changer thing. The voice from the phone calls.
The voice, yeah, for the Scream franchise. Yeah.
So, and when I was told no, I was like, that's fine by me. I'm not going to throw a fit or anything like that. Like, how dare you not do it? It was,
you went to that.
He's got a signing event here in San Diego. I can completely understand him not wanting to do it. So, but he was still an awesome guy.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention, have you guys already seen the trailer for, the Toxic Avenger?
I have not seen it because I don't want to see it. I want to see the movie unspoiled.
I want to see it just because Peter Dinklage is going to play the title character.
Well,
I think it would be great.
I always loved Toxic Avenger. Back, I think that was one of the first horror movies I ever watched. Back, I want to say 5, 6, 7 years old when I first watched it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. What I learned about this film is it was supposed to come out 2 years ago, but because of the dreaded disease that we had worldwide, they put it on hold. But it has a pretty good cast. Like I said, Dinklage is going to play Toxic Avenger. The villain's going to be played by Kevin Bacon, and the assassin is going to be played by Elijah Wood, the same kind of assassin that he played in Sin City, if you remember that. So, yeah. Same kind of assassin, just kind of, but different for this film. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I really want to see what Dinklage does with it. I remember the Trauma films myself. I mean, I'd seen all 3 of them at different places. One at a friend's house. I think I saw the second one at, an art theater or whatever. And then the third one was like somewhere else on cable. It was on cable late night. So I seen them and I thought they were bad enough to be good and they were funny and everything. And and then there was nothing for a while. And he said, okay, I guess that's it. They did 3 films. That was all. They weren't going to do anything. And then, like I said, I just found out, last year that they were going to put something out. And I thought, okay. And then this year, I finally saw the trailer. And so it's coming out August 27th. Yeah, looks good.
Well, remember, there was also the TV show.
Oh, yep. TV show. You're right. Because they did the same thing with Swamp Thing, and that went nowhere. Yeah, I do remember Toxic Avenger TV show.
Let Nightbreeze say what he wanted to say.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to let you know, you can get Lieutenant Giles to say something on Cameo.
Well, no, I can't do it straight from Cameo. I basically, if they're doing it on Cameo, they're more inclined to do it outside Cameo. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Because Cameo has certain rules. Cameo has certain rules when it comes to having actors do promotional stuff for a company. It's a little bit different for YouTube channels, but like if I want them to say something for my eBay store, Cameo requires me to pay a subscription for the license. So you literally have to pay them every month that you you want to keep using that video for promotional purposes, and I don't want to keep paying the same amount every month just to use a video that's going to be like the 3 I have. The longest one is 13 seconds.
Yeah. I just found I just found Larry Minetti on.
But if they're on Cameo, those actors are usually okay with doing it off Cameo.
Yeah, and on Cameo he's $30, so probably can do it relatively cheap if he. Yeah.
Well, if I can, like as I said, after I do the stream, I'm gonna work on the Vile review I wanted to release back in April. But I need to get some more semi-famous people. I don't know did you guys watch when I was doing the ones a couple years ago before I went my long hiatus because my computer got stolen?
Well, I was watching some of them. Used to do
when I did the Batman Long Halloween episodes. The character on the show on the review of Anchi is actually played by a former adult actress, Frankie LaRue.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, she does have an IMDb page, but it's real funny that turns out she's lives here in San Diego, and we actually became friends.
Nice.
A former porn star and you became friends?
Yep.
Wow.
But, I was more watching the ones you did with Caddy.
Yeah, the one that Caddy. There's a few things that we want to try to get done now that if I'm not working as much, I can do some more videos because I really like if you saw the thumbnail for this stream, I really want to get to 300 subscribers. I'm at 250 or 285, and I've been at 285 for the last month. Since I started doing the shorts every day, I've gained 5 subscribers.
Yeah, you're closer. You're much closer to 300 than me, Vile. I'm at 258. I'm still 42 away from 300 for my channel.
But what's funny is my daily shorts are getting like my watch time is going way up because of those shorts. So right. I could if I'm still not close to the 500 you need to monetize, but right. When it comes to my watch time hours and the amount of videos I'm producing, I already qualify. So I just need to get the subscribers up.
Yeah, that shouldn't take very long though for you though.
Well, the thing is, I'm not getting a lot from the shorts. That's what's interesting. Even though I've posted about 30.
Yeah.
As I said, some of them, and what's real interesting is when I look at the analytics, the videos that I like making the most and take the longest are getting the fewest amount of views. The ones that I just throw together are getting the most views.
Yeah.
I think one of them has nearly 10,000 views at this point, and I'm like, I literally threw that together in 20 minutes.
Yeah. You know what, to be honest, let me take a look at my channel here for a minute, see how many views I have so far. Like I said, I'm at 258 subscribers. I never really check my things. Like, I don't know why. I just never kind of look at them. But let's see here. Okay, so since my wife and I joined to put together this channel back in November of 2017, like I said, we have 258 subscribers. I have 372 videos I've made. And our views are over 15,061 views. So it's not like people aren't watching our channel. They see us, we're out there. So
for the when I did my 28, because they do things in 28-day analytics.
Yeah.
As of my last video, I hit 100,000 views for the 28-day period.
Nice.
But it's just not translating to subscribers.
Yeah. Casual watchers, we call them, right, Nate?
Yeah, and my weekly watch time went from 40 hours to 100 hours. So
wow, nice.
It's more than doubled that. But yeah, it's as I said, it just hasn't translated to the subscribers. So I now that I want to, there's so many ideas I have that I want to see if I can implement. Fortunately, Caddy showed me her Kind Master, which is a real good way to make these short videos.
Sir.
It's a pretty good editing tool considering it's free.
Yeah. So Andor is Star Trek, right? And
no, Andor the planet is Star Trek. Andor the person is Star Wars.
Star Wars Andor. Okay.
And Mercer, if you want to come up and defend Andor, because on the last CNA stream, I was literally going on a rant that I honestly 100% believe Acolyte was a better show than Andor is.
Okay, Mercer, you need to come up and defend Andor.
Because Andor is the only Star Wars show that consistently puts me to sleep.
Andor? Yeah, sort of does. Yeah, I like the Star Trek Andor the planet. I mean, I like that series and I hope they do more. But the guy that I'm friends with on YouTube, Alec Peters, he just got into so much trouble with Paramount Plus and Paramount, and I was like, why did you have to be such a braggadocio guy? Just kind of like, say, hey, I got the best, and that one has Tony Todd on it too. By the way, we've been talking Tony here, and rest in peace, and he's on that. So yeah. Oh, you haven't seen Acolyte? No, I haven't either, Mercer. I don't get Acolyte, so no. I haven't seen it.
Here's the reason why. Well, I liked Acolyte. As bad as certain things were in the show, some of the acting, some of the direction, some of the writing wasn't necessarily the best. In my opinion, almost everything around the show, like that takes place during the show, makes Star Wars better.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, this is a great show.
Yeah.
Andor, every time when I watched it, every time I'm watching it, the only thing I can say that it does good is building up the universe more. That's it. Showing off more planets, showing off how bad the Empire was. That's great, but it's also boring. No. Okay. So I don't give away any spoilers. Everyone here has seen Andor.
I haven't watched any of it. I don't have Disney Plus.
Okay. Have you seen the trailer for it at least?
I think I've seen a couple. I think I've seen a clip or two. Where I see something with Obi-Wan and supposed to be a kid, Leia.
Well, that's the Obi-Wan show.
Oh, okay. Then no, I haven't even seen anything on it.
Okay, Andor is basically a prequel to Rogue One.
Yeah.
Because the main character Cassian Andor is in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I never saw the Acolyte.
You saw Acolyte, Danny?
No, I never did.
No, I haven't seen it either.
It's not my time period. I don't like that time period. I'm just so tired of it. I want to move forward with Ahsoka and The Mandalorian.
Oh, I definitely get that. I like. Again, I'm one of the few that really liked Ahsoka. To me, that was Rebels season 5 or 6 or whatever.
Could have been, yes, definitely.
I'm also looking forward to the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming that's you, Mercer.
Yes, I can't stay long, but
He's director Orson Krennic.
This picture of Orson, by the way. Yeah. This picture is from Andor, by the way.
Oh, it is? Oh, wow.
Because he is in the show.
He is in it. Okay.
The show is to me the show is not boring. I hear a lot of people saying that. I was once watching Ahsoka, And Ahsoka starts out with, she's cutting through the battle droids with lightsabers. I find that positively boring. It's the same old action thing. Why would she be cutting through and battle droids with lightsabers where they're looking for the same thing she is, and they would destroy themselves? They wouldn't get it. Like, all that action stuff is boring. What I like is character development, world development, slow building tension, ethical dilemmas, and an actual build up to a conflict. Slow burn, learning about cultures of the different planets they go to. So it's slower, but it's so much more gratifying.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it wasn't gratifying because, like, I'm going to give spoilers away for season 2. The first episode of Andor, he steals a TIE Advanced type prototype. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really like the first 3 episodes
Mercer,
as much.
why don't you explain to everybody what happens to the TIE fighter at the end of Andor?
Well, like I was just saying, I didn't like those first 3 episodes as much as the rest of the season, but it doesn't really matter. They obviously used it. He used it to go to the to get Willman, and he used it to get Bix, and he used it to discover the rendezvous point, which is the most important part of that trilogy. Was when he discovered Yavin 4.
But my issue was the entirety of the TIE fighter in my mind was a Chekhov's gun, because we have this badass one-of-a-kind fighter that doesn't show up in the main trilogy.
The Chekhov's gun is when you actually use it later. They didn't use it.
So I agree. I thought it was going to be a Chekhov's gun. I thought it was going to come in at the last episode.
I'm glad
to do something awesome, get destroyed, and then explains why it wasn't there anymore.
It was
but the
pretty
fact
awesome.
is, they didn't.
I'm glad they didn't, because the story that they were telling was far more important. The actual Gorman stuff and what they did, on Gorman and also Yavin, all that stuff. Coruscant.
The whole part with Gorman was just a slow burn, which they already did with Jeddah. It's literally a slow burn version of Jeddah.
Well, you could say that too about Ferrix, but it was great. It was fantastic.
Well, Ferrix. What was the Ferrix was not the planet that had the bank heist thing from season 1.
Yeah, that was Aldani.
Okay.
Ferrix is the planet with the bricks.
I hated the bank scene. When they're robbing the bank, essentially. Because
it's a.
Well, you know what I mean. But they're essentially they're robbing the Imperials of money.
Sorry.
That part I didn't care. I like that was fine. It was how they ended up accomplishing it, and it was because what they do is they point guns at the Imperials and tell the Imperials load up the thing. And if one Imperial decided, no, we're not going to do that, we're going to shoot back, their entire plan falls apart.
Exactly. They were not the most organized group.
But they spent the previous 9 episodes or whatnot were all about them training to do this fucking mission. How everything had to be done perfectly.
Exactly. But listen. Exactly. They were training to do this mission. They bring in Cassian, and he tells them, your plan sucks. He told them repeatedly that as much as you're planning, you don't even know how to fly the freighter out of there. That's the whole point.
He never points out that big major reason why the whole plan can fail. And of course it doesn't, because they end up, they needed the money.
You know that Cinta killed those people, right?
Sorry, what?
Cinta, they didn't show it, but you know that she killed those people, the hostages.
No, but I figured that doesn't add anything to the story anyway.
No, but I'm just saying she killed the kid and she killed the family, which I think kind of sucks. But she's ruthless like that. She also killed Tay in the second season.
Well, as I said, to me,
You know, the fact
It
is
was
that the fact is that they didn't need to steal all the money. In fact, if they had failed, their plan still would have worked. That's the whole point of Aldani. If they had failed, it still would have caused the Empire to crack down, which is exactly what Luthen wanted. Just the fact that they even tried to steal the money was what mattered. Actually, stealing it wasn't really a big thing, because who knows where that money is going to go? It's going to go to the rebellion. But what Luthen wanted was for them to try to stage a robbery that on a very like what I would call a nerve in the Empire, like a very sensitive spot when they could actually possibly get away with it. Once the Empire realized it, then the Empire can crack down, and that's exactly what they did. They expanded the PORD, which is like the sentencing directive, gave everybody longer sentences, and that caused the people in general everywhere, not just on that planet, to rebel against the Empire, which is what Luthen wanted. That's all he wanted. He didn't care about the money. He just cared about, he even said, oppression breeds rebellion. That's his whole philosophy. His whole philosophy is you cause the Empire to stop acting slow and get them to speed things up. He's an accelerationist. You cause the Empire to actually crack down on people, then people are going to stand up to them. And that's what he needs people to do. So it didn't matter whether the Aldani heist succeeded or failed. It just had to happen.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of my favorite scenes still in Rogue One is where he faces Vader, and Vader gives him the Force choke.
Oh yeah, that's a great scene. But in Andor, he gives Dedra a talking to very similar to the way Vader talked to him. You know,
Really?
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So it just depends on who's in charge. But the point is, Luthen masterminded Aldani, and like I was saying, his philosophy is, he even said to Saw, he said, we need the Empire to help. We need them to grow angry, or oppression breeds rebellion. His plan was always to accelerate things, because the Empire might be ruling the galaxy, but and they grow more and more powerful every day, but people don't notice it because they go to work, they go to their jobs, they do their thing. And he even said it's in the trailer, he's like, the Empire has been choking us so slowly, we've started not to notice. And his job, his thing is, he wants to speed it up. He wants to have the Empire get really, like they're being questioned, the rebellion is doing something, and if the rebellion does something, the Empire cracks down on everyone. And when they do that, then everybody will rebel. And that was the whole point of Aldani. It wasn't about the money. And in fact, that's what happened on Ferrix, is that Luthen, who while he has everything, a master plan in mind, if you notice through the first season, he has a hard time convincing people to go along with his plan. And what he realized is that all he can do is kind of like double cross people and all that. But when Marva, who is Cassian's mother, gives this incredible speech to fight the Empire during her eulogy, everybody's inspired. All those people are part of the rebellion. And he realized at that moment that he, he's got literally armies around the galaxy that will fight for him.
Hey, Mercer, tell me something. Who I know that Forrest Whitaker played Saw in Rogue One, but who plays him as a younger? Who plays?
He's also in Andor in both seasons, but he's not in a lot of scenes. He's only in a few scenes, but he is in Andor.
So
Forrest considering Luthen didn't really seem to have a lot of contact with him, it was Saw was more of the one doing the stuff that what you're saying is an issue with the Empire, making them crack down more, not the bank heist.
Well, I'm just saying, Luthen organized a bank heist, and he even said to Saul, we need the Empire to help. We need them cracking down hard. That's an actual quote from Luthen. Is an accelerationist. Saul is just an angry fighter. He'll just do whatever he feels like it. And, he tried to get Saw to team up with Krieger. He tried to get Saw to team up with Krieger to attack the Steer Guard. And at first Saw wouldn't do it. It's like, think about it. Think about not Steer Guard. Think about one of these Imperial bases, Spell House. That was the name of it. And great, and he says to Saw, he says, think about Spell House and flames, but he's not very convincing because Saw didn't want to do it. And by the end of the season, Saw says, okay, we'll do it. And that was the scene. And this is going to be really profound. That scene marked what I think was the beginning of the Civil War between the Empire and the Rebellion, is when, Luthen learns that Krieger has been given away, that Krieger is going to attack, and he lets him attack. And he says, don't do it. He actually tells Saw not to go in and help him, because if they did, then they would just be captured. They'd be dead. They'd all die or be captured. So he says to Saw, I can't let you go in there anymore. My original plan is shot. You can't go in there. And Saw says, so you're just going to leave 30 men to die? And he's like, yeah, because if I don't, they're going to know that I have a mole in the ISB. If I don't, they're going to know. If Krieger does go in and they get wiped out, from that point on, we'll have a free, clear field to play, because they won't know that we have somebody inside. So when Saw looks at him and says, for the greater good, he's like, call it what you will. And he says, let's call it war. And then he doesn't attack. That was the beginning of the war, of the actual Star Wars. And you know what I mean?
See, that's the way they did it is very similar to the real life. And I can't remember which city it was, but there was a city that was going to be bombed by the Germans. And they had, they'd broken their encryption. And it was, the same dilemma. Do we evacuate this town and let the Germans know we've essentially cracked their codes, or do we let this town suffer and possibly save more lives down the road? That's that type of thing that happened, except in fictional life terms.
Yeah, Lonnie, like, he couldn't give up. Lonnie was an ISB guy. Luthen couldn't give him up. He was too valuable, And as soon as, he would tell Krieger and Saw to pull out of that attack, then the ISB, the Empire, would know that there is somebody inside. It's a spy. So that's what I love about the show. There's so many slow build-up payoffs. Like, what I love about, without giving any specific spoilers about season 2, but just in general, the last part of season 2 was about the 2 biggest secrets in Star Wars. And this carries all the way to the original film, A New Hope. The biggest secret the Empire has is the Death Star. And the Rebellion has an even bigger secret, a secret that is so big that they will be even more ruthless to protect it. And that secret is Yavin, their rebel base. And those 2 secrets kind of collide in the last few episodes of Andor under the surface. Like, that's what's driving the last 3 episodes, is the fact that neither party can let their secret out under any circumstance.
But my main issue with Andor is, like you said, there are some great parts where it's a slow burn and you get this nice payoff. But the problem is there's also these parts that are a slow burn and there is no payoff.
Oh, there's a lot of payoff. I will agree. I like the TIE Fighter. The main thing is the first 3 episodes, TIE Fighter's okay. I like the fact that Yavin 4 was revealed in those 3 episodes. I love the fact that one of the subtle things I didn't notice is that Luthen hires Erskine in those first 3 episodes. And I never noticed that before, but he hires Erskine to protect Mon Mothma. He was already protecting her, but that was the first episode where he decides to work for Luthen. And that pays off.
But I mean, like, there's the other things, like the listening device in the relic at that one guy's place.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I love that. I love that when they were trying to take it out. I love that.
It was but they could have cut that entire part out of all the episodes, and it would not have affected anything.
Oh yeah, they couldn't, because Golden, it would have led right back to Luthen. The fact that this piece is a fake.
But if that was a big issue, then they wouldn't have. When Daedra actually confronts Luthen, it would have been something along those lines. It said no. It was the freaking piece that Andor, sells the guy at the first or second episode from season 1.
Real quick, everybody, you have a great night.
She had that. She had the Star Path unit with her.
Sorry. Later, Wolfie. We'll see you later.
All right.
So,
see you later.
give my best to Caddy Bree.
I will.
She had the Star Path with her. That was the point. She brought it back.
But I'm just saying, it was. If they had cut that entire sequence out, it would not have affected anything.
I don't think you're right about that. I mean, I can't. I haven't seen that episode in a while, but no, you can't really cut anything out. You can't just with Andor. You can't just like skip to the end because even the insignificant parts have value. I love when Clea and Luthen walk out of that party and they have the listening device and they say and Luthen jokes, we should have killed Krennic while we were up there. That was hilarious. We should have killed him while we were up there.
But what I could probably take the first season of Andor and if I were to take my mediocre editing skills and you could edit it down to a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, I disagree. I need to learn about the culture of Ferrix. I need to learn about who Cyril is as a person. I think it was perfectly paced. It's a slow burn, but I just don't have I'm not trying to make fun of you. This is not toward you because you're awesome, but I'm just saying in general, this whole idea that everything needs to be condensed because people don't want.
I'm not saying it needs to. I'm just saying that this is the only one. This is the first real Star Wars thing where I'm like, many scenes don't seem to go anywhere.
I loved watching every bit of it. How much tension was it? All right, for example, he gets to the prison, right? In other Star Wars shows or even other Marvel shows, he gets into the prison and they're building this part. They have no idea what it is. I'm sure that an inferior scriptwriter, almost anybody else, would have had him say a line or maybe not a joke, but a jokey kind of line, just anything, you know what I mean? Like a line, like a one-liner, even if it was subtle. When he first arrives in that prison and he starts learning how to build this thing, there wasn't any kind of jokey line. That's what he's going to be doing for a while. And instead of giving you what you'd expect from modern day writers, he shows Andor, who's still looking for a way out. He doesn't, when he goes on program, he puts his hands behind his head. He doesn't fully connect them. He's always looking. His eyes are always moving for security failures, but he settles in. He has to keep, this is time to work. And they don't give you the obvious script writing thing like they would do in Mandalorian or Ahsoka or any number of Marvel projects where you're waiting for something slightly jokey, something slightly encouraging to the audience.
The jokey part, I agree. They don't need the jokey part. But even that, it was a 3-episode arc where it's on the prison, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was perfect. Absolutely perfect.
No.
The fact that
Andy Serkis was fantastic in his parts during those episodes. Especially at the end where, I can't swim.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was a perfect fucking line. Everything. Great.
What's even better was
that whole episode, the 3-episode arc, could have been condensed to a single episode.
No, it couldn't have, because we needed to settle in on the fact that this is where they are for a while. We needed to settle in on the fact that Kino is in charge and that he doesn't like the Empire. He just wants to get through his sentence. That we need this idea that he is running the show, even though he's not running the show. But he's running this group on this level during the day.
If they're going to give Andor some characterization for that arc instead of just him being the perennial, badass, essentially, they should have had a moment other than what's his name's death, which was a very emotional moment, very good, well written, but Andor needed to break at some point, and he's always looking for a way out.
He even tells Melshi. He looks at Melshi and he says, "Do you see the elevator? Do you see what we could do? Do you see this?" They do it very gradually. For example, here's the argument I'm making. Right, my brother's favorite movie of all time, Shawshank Redemption. That's his favorite movie. And what do you think about in the Shawshank Redemption? You think about the Rockhammer, you think about the Poster, you think about Zawa Janeo, you think about all the things, get busy living, get busy dying. What a lot of people forget is that the beginning of that movie, a big fat man gets beaten to death. The sisters rape the main character. It's a very slow build. No. Let me finish, please. There's a very slow build. You even though those beginning points are not necessarily connected to the end in terms of plot points, you need them. You need that build up. You absolutely need that beginning for any of the end to be not just worth the payoff, but you had to have gotten there with the characters. That's why you can't cut the 3-episode prison arc into one episode. That's why you can't cut the first arc into one episode.
Shawshank Redemption is a different type of story, though.
I know it is, but I'm just saying you can't just cut out.
Hold on.
Plot-wise, you can't cut out the sisters. Plot-wise, you can't cut
hold
out.
on. Andy Dufresne is broken at the beginning of when he's first thrown in prison. It's not until he develops those relationships,
right?
Then he starts formulating his plan to escape.
Right.
And he does it in such a way where it's not going to be. Hold on. It's not such a way that when he escapes, it's just to benefit him. He does it in a way to discredit the entire warden and system. Because he now cares about the people there.
It's not the same. It's not the same story, but it's the same need to build up that. The only reason I'm satisfied when those guys start jumping off that prison and into the water is because they've earned it over 3 episodes. If it was 1 episode, just be like, like for example, in The Mandalorian, there was an episode where they go onto a ship with the female Mandalorians in season 2 and do some mission. I forget what it's for, and then they ask for the Darksaber and the guy doesn't know where it is. It would just be forgettable, just like any random episode where I don't remember what the point of it was. By doing it in 3 episodes, by building Kino Loy as a character and giving him a full arc in only 3 episodes, by building that prison and having you psychologically realize that the big problem with that prison is that there's no culture. You're in there to work 12 hours, you sleep for 12 hours. There's no music. There's no culture. It's stagnant. You need to feel that, just like you needed to feel what Andy went through in Shawshank. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but I'm saying you needed to feel. And the problem with modern media is that we need to get to everything so quickly because if it's not completely essential, we got to edit it down to 1 episode. I disagree.
In 3 episodes, I never felt for a second that Andor, the character, was going to give up.
Right,
and I think at that point,
I never felt that either. He never gives up.
After his high of the prison, I'm still calling it a bank heist. After the high of the bank heist, to fall that far, he should have had that big emotional thing where one of the prisoners tells him, "Don't give up." And instead,
they didn't need to do that. They didn't look at this. Remember what Nemec said before the heist? He says, "I can't sleep tonight because the heist is tomorrow morning." And Andor slept because to him he's just getting paid. But the night before they broke out of prison, who is not sleeping? Cassian Andor, because he knows they're going to break out. So Tony Gilroy doesn't need to spell things out. He can do things and trust the audience to follow it.
I still disagree. I can't.
That's okay. We don't have to agree. I think you're an awesome dude.
I love your passion on it, dude.
I think both seasons are awesome. I do like the first season a little bit better. It's grittier. It's just unprecedented. I never expected I would get anything like it. And I got so much world building. The music alone is so interesting and different. And I got all these characters and all these different ideas about what tyranny and freedom mean. I'm not saying it's absolutely perfect. I could find flaws. Here's a flaw I had with season 1, and I don't mind it, but they almost did it a little too much, is when nobody trusted him. He's like, who is this guy? We can't trust him. He's a new guy. For the first episode, nobody trusted him. Gorn didn't. I love the Star Trek names that they used. Gorn didn't trust him. Skeen didn't trust him. Vel didn't trust him. Nobody trusted him. And I understand because he's a new guy and he was getting paid. But even during the second episode of the arc, they were still doing that. I thought that was a little bit much. I thought they would have cleared all that up by the first episode. So it's not the season's not perfect, but I never knew how much I wanted a slow Star Wars that was building the world and making me feel like, freedom is really difficult. Nemec's manifesto that he wrote before that he gives to him was amazing, and the way they brought it back at the end of season 2 with Partagaz when he's listening to it, and he's like, "This thing is spread." That was amazing.
Going after the blackboard.
Sorry, what was that?
Mercer. No, I was saying my cat was about, Mercer knows we own our 2 cats. Yeah. And one of them was about to go over to the blackboard and start gnawing on it.
Yeah,
she's been our younger one, Deja Vu, the Mancoon. She tries to do that to she tries to do that to Suzanne's setup too. She tries to eat the corns every once in a while. It's kind of funny.
Anyway, I love talking about it. I love you guys. You guys are great. If I see him out of it, it's just because I love the show. I especially love the first season. Yeah. But you guys are awesome. I totally understand. I haven't seen I've been waiting for a slow build show. A show where some of the lines are a little blurrier. Ever since I saw Boba Fett when I was a kid, when Boba Fett appeared in Empire Strikes Back, and I realized that he was neither necessarily a good guy nor a bad guy. He was just a very threatening, morally ambiguous character who just cared about the money. And even Darth Vader regarded how dangerous he was. From that point on, I wanted to know more about the grittier side of Star Wars. From that,
it's one of the reasons why I liked the Book of Boba Fett was because
I like that show.
One, he keeps his badass cred, but it also establishes him starting from zero.
Yeah, I like
gaining a family, losing that family, and realizing that he wants to now protect people because he wants to create his own family because bounty hunting is not going to last forever.
Tamara Morrison is a very strong actor. I really like him. I think he's a strong lead character, and I agree with you. And also the scene in The Mandalorian where he comes back and takes his armor, that's a badass scene.
You know what's a great
with the Great Dragon? Oh God, that was awesome.
That was a Cobb Vanth using his armor. That wasn't Boba Fett. That was Cobb Vanth using Boba Fett's armor. But I'm talking about the episode where they take Grogu.
Yeah.
And he steals his armor back, and then he just starts wasting fools. That was awesome.
Yeah,
and it also builds on the Mandalorian characterization being like the whole. Yeah, let me show you the chain code, which I like bringing up the chain code because I liked not Skeleton Crew. What was the other one? Bad Batch. There we go. Because the Bad Batch built up the whole need for the Imperial chain code stuff.
Right.
But it shows like, oh, your father, it actually is your armor. Then by all means, it's yours. Take it. And it built up the Mandalorian mythos of honor over almost everything else.
Absolutely agree with you there. No, for the most part, we're getting close to agreeing, and we don't have to agree on everything. The point is that, I like the Book of Boba Fett as like a chapter of the Mandalorian because they're still working on chapters. They're not two different shows. They're the same show where one chapter goes a little bit different in a different direction.
Yeah, I like the Book of Boba Fett too, but the other one that I read was Tales of the Bounty Hunters. To me, that's the all-time favorite for me for Star Wars. It talks about all the bounty hunters, IG-88, all these other things, and I'm just, and I'm so happy. Where they mentioned, the part where, my favorite thing I read was that Boba Fett goes into the Sarlacc pit, but he still has one of those, miniature bombs right in his arsenal or whatever, and he blows the Sarlacc out from the inside out. That's how he survives, and I
do like the fact that even though he did that, he comes back in a later time and the Sarlacc is still alive. So yeah, he blew the fucking thing up, but it's still alive too.
But so many
Changing the subject a little bit. I'm going to be going for surgery this summer. So
Oh my.
look what I bought for my recovery.
Nice. Yes. There you go.
I'm going to sit at home and watch each one of these discs.
That is so cool.
Has 3 discs. Each one of these
That
has 3
is
discs.
cool.
So it says
Oh,
6
okay.
discs, but there's actually 24 discs.
Yeah, you did.
cartoons.
Mercer, did you know they destroyed the building that they made the actual Warner Brothers and the from? They destroyed it. Looney Tunes is gone. They got rid of that sometime earlier this
I
year.
heard that they stopped streaming it.
Well,
I didn't
yeah.
hear that it was destroyed. But anyway, you can
Yeah.
see how many cartoons there are. 300 some cartoons.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
love
they tore down-
love Looney
they tore down
Tunes,
part
the
of
old
the
ones.
building
So
on the
much.
Warner lot. Yeah. So
I
That's a
got this
shame.
for $30. I got this for $30,
nice.
and
That's a
Where's
good deal.
where's Normal? Is Normal sleeping?
Normal is in bed.
There she is.
Well, here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a link to the eBay store real quick because we've been going for almost 2.5 hours.
Okay, yeah, I gotta go to bed, but I just wanted to tell you, hey, we don't have to agree on everything. I just wanted to share why I'm passionate about Andor, because to me, it had a grit to it that I liked, had a family sensibility. It was the darkest and yet most hopeful Star Wars I've ever seen.
I have no issue someone defending it because, and dude, as I said, I love your fucking passion for it because you are making me think of it in different lights. But I, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the modern Disney era TV shows, it is still the one I'd rank lowest.
Right. I mean, take Cyril as a character, just his character alone, the way they basically respun Les Miserables. You know how Les Miserables was Javert and Valjean. Well, Javert was Cyril and Valjean was Cassian. And the way they basically remade that in Star Wars is absolutely brilliant. Cyril is such a cool
except for the fact that Valjean and Javert never actually meet until the end.
Right. I'm just saying, I love the way they did it. It's not exactly like Les Mis, but it's close enough, and I loved it.
The reason I wanted to post the link is for my daily video tomorrow. I'll let you guys choose what item or items should I make a video about for tomorrow. But it has to be one I haven't done recently.
What are you I don't know what you're talking. I don't know the format. What you're gonna have a link?
Oh, for my the daily videos I've been doing for the YouTube Shorts. I'll give you an example. Hold on, I uploaded some that I played earlier, but it was before people showed up. Here's one of them. Yeah. Since we're
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Don't you agree?
Oh, that was awesome. I like that.
That was cool.
Now,
that's the type of stuff I've been doing. So I'll let you guys choose what video or what item or items I should do for tomorrow's video.
Now, this is what the inside of each one of these discs look like. There's 4 discs in here. 4, 5, 1, 2, 4 discs in each Looney Tunes disc.
Nice.
So when I'm home, I'm going to be watching these because I'm going to be home all summer recovering from surgery.
What kind of surgery are you going through again, Mercer?
They got to remove a kidney.
Oh.
Ouch.
Ouchie. Yeah.
What do you think of my BB-8 figure I was trying to show you guys?
Oh yeah, BB-8 looks cool, man.
BB-8 Emo from Andor, the little red
Nice.
droid that he has. Remember on Ferrix? Get the little red droid.
Actually, if you want a real BB-8, I mean the actual rolling droid, the orange and white one. I have one on the eBay store. It's a plush one.
I have the app controlled version of that droid, but it's not supported anymore.
Yeah.
I also have this guy. Transformer.
Is that a G1 or is that a reissue? Or
it's a reissue, but it's still G1. You know,
Nice. Okay.
It's the same thing. It's the same mold as I just don't have my original anymore. But
I actually have in my collection a when I sold at the swap meets. I always made the joke that if you wanted a discount, you could give me a Transformer. And this one kid took that to heart, spent the entire allowance money he had buying a G1 Soundwave from somebody, bringing it to me.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Is that
no, I said Soundwave.
Oh, Soundwave. Sorry, Soundwave.
And he gave it to me, and he was like, is there any way I can get a Pokemon game for this? And at the time, the condition of that G1 Soundwave was horrendous. I mean, it was missing the back panel. It was missing most of the stickers, scratched up, beat up all to hell. But I was so moved. I was like, yeah, kid, you could take whatever Pokemon game you want. And I still have that Soundwave in my collection.
That's awesome. Look at this
Yeah,
Optimus Prime I have. He's a little miniature Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime, yeah. I saw with the red cab. Yeah.
And I got I got a little Bumblebee as well.
Have you seen the
Bumblebee? Cool. Yeah.
Have you seen the Target exclusive Optimus Prime yet?
I've seen so many Optimus Primes. I don't know which one the Target exclusive is.
It's the one that's currently inside the stores. It comes with a Soundwave cassette that is compatible with some of the Soundwaves.
Nice.
But it's Spot, the old Target dog.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out. That's pretty cool.
And their version, that Optimus Prime can use it as a shield.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool.
So, yeah, it's way too much. It's like $60, $70. I'll wait till I can find one on clearance, but
yeah,
I do want one.
Most of my spare money right now is going to my Switch because I'm going to be playing video games while I'm out.
Yeah. I also told Daniel too that Tamara Morrison, who was the Jango Fett, right, and he was in all three of the Aquaman movies, playing his Aquaman's dad.
He was Aquaman's dad.
There's my Knight Rider car. There's my Knight Rider car.
Well, hold on. Is that the Transformer one or no?
No, this is the Super Pursuit mode Hot Wheels.
That's the original Hot Wheels.
Right, I have
Knight Rider Pursuit. Yeah.
Since you just said Knight Rider, I got to do something now. I got to play another one of my shorts because this is literally the one I did yesterday.
I have a friend who we chat almost every night who actually built his own kit for real. It's got his own computer in it. He built the dashboard. Took him 10 years to build it. And and we've been watching the show. We just finished the series, but we've been watching the show every night, like every couple nights.
Well, since we talked about Knight Rider, I got to play this one. Sorry.
Okay. I'm the Queen of Horseshoes. Who will challenge me?
Hey. Only I clang horseshoes.
Are you ready to back that up?
You sure you want this?
Bring it on.
Let me finish my hot dog first.
Sure, no problem.
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, handsome.
Because I put at the end that little clip from Knight Rider.
You know that Nana Visitor appeared in Knight Rider as a villain. Kira Nerys. Robin Curtis, who appeared as Savick, appeared in a Knight Rider episode. A bunch of Star Trek. Robert O'Reilly, who played Gowron, appeared in a couple episodes. The guy that played Worf's father, human father, I have all the specs and diagrams. It's him. He appeared in Knight Rider. They have quite a few people that have appeared in Knight Rider that were in Star Trek.
What is it? Nikolai Rozhenko?
Yeah, Nikolai. I have all the specs and diagrams at home. Yeah, so I'm on a big Knight Rider trip right now. Like we just finished it like a week ago. I love it. I think it's great.
Have you seen the Knight Rider Transformer?
Yes, I don't have him. He's very expensive. His name is Agent Knight.
Yeah.
I have the Back to the Future one, and I want to get the Ecto one and the Knight Rider one, but I only have the Back to the Future one. His name is Gigawatt. But I love Gigawatt. No, what the hell is a gigawatt? It's gigawatt. What the hell is a gigawatt? And
it's gigawatts.
I love
it's not gigawatts. It's
and
gigawatts.
I saw Knight Rider 2000, which I didn't like, but it was fun to watch. I saw Knight Rider 2008 TV show, which I also didn't like, but it was fun to watch. But I still haven't seen Knight Rider 2010 or Team Knight Rider. But we got through the main show, and my favorite episodes was Junkyard Dog, Night of the Drones, and Night of the Juggernaut. Night of the Juggernaut is when they meet up with that battering ram that destroys Kit.
Well, what about the episodes, Mercer, where you had Kit face his exact opposite?
Car's cool.
Yeah, Car.
Yeah, Car is cool.
And then
Optimus Prime does his voice in one of the episodes. I thought he was cool, but I like Juggernaut better. And I liked the drones better. Night of the Drones was awesome. That's where they had a little sound wave. They had a little tape player that transforms into a robot and melts things. You remember he melts things?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great episode.
Yeah.
But anyway, I gotta get to bed, guys, because I got like 7 a.m. work and stuff. Thanks for welcoming me to your stream. If you ever want to talk about Andor, I've watched the first season many times. Not perfect, but I think I love it. I think I absolutely love it. And
I don't do these streams. It's not like the CNA stream, which is a weekly stream. The Community Offensive stream is just a stream that I do on a random time whenever I feel like it.
That sounds cool. I miss your game. Your games are always fun.
If I'm not working as much, I might be able to do that. Bring that back too.
Well, here's the thing. This summer, starting in July, I'm going to be home because of recovery from surgery. So I'll have a lot more time to spend on YouTube, just sitting at home. So I look forward to maybe joining one of those games once I'm feeling better.
Well, all of you are always welcome on the CNA stream, and that's still every week, Sunday morning. So,
thank you very much.
Yeah, and you can
Good to
also
see you, Mikey. Good to see you, Daniel. Are you there, Daniel? You haven't said
I
anything.
see you there, Mercer.
Yeah, I meant to say hello, but I got so caught up in talking about Andor because I had so much on my mind. I had so much on my mind about Andor that I just had to get it out, and I didn't want to forget anything. You know what I mean?
Totally
It's good to see you. But I had to get this thought out about why it had to be 3 episodes, or why Luthen had to raid Aldhani. It wasn't for the money; it was to start a war. And I just had to get it out there. But it's good to see everybody. It really is. I don't join up here very often. By the way, this shirt that I'm wearing is a Cleveland Indians
shirt.
Right? I'm not a baseball fan, but this shirt was signed by Tom Berenger because it's his jersey from the movie Major League.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah,
but
the Cleveland
remember
Indians.
They call
that
it,
movie
they
is
call
so
them
good.
Guardians now. Yeah,
This is not politically correct anymore. But that movie, I don't know if you've ever seen Daniel. You guys ever see Major League?
Yes,
it's my favorite sports movie that's not Rocky. It's so good. I'm not a sports movie fan, but Major League is my favorite sports movie that's not in the Rocky franchise.
Major League is a decent sports film, but I can go you one better. Bad News Bears from way back.
Oh yeah, that was good too. But for me,
and the TV series was good. Yes, so
part of what makes Major League so special is I used to watch it with my dad all the time. And my dad's no longer with us, so there's a lot of movies that I rewatch just because I watched them with him.
Yep, same thing, including Toxic Avenger, which we talked about earlier, as one of the ones I watched with my dad. So
here's one that I watched with my dad, and he loved it. It was called Disorganized Crime. Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
Right.
So
Basically, it's got Corbin Burnson, who is in as Q in one of the Q episodes, and he's basically a guy from Newark. It's a silly comedy, but basically he's a guy from Newark, but he's in Montana for some reason.
Yeah.
And he decides, okay, the bank here looks like it might have a lot of money. So he summons some other people he's worked with in the past, like a point man, a getaway driver, an electrician, and a safecracker. That he summons them out to the hideout in Montana, so that way they can rob the bank. The problem is he gets arrested before they get there, so they have to figure out why they're there and what they're going to do. And meantime, he gets away from the cops, but he can't find his way back to the hideout. And chaos ensues because their paths come very close to intersecting throughout the movie. But basically, these guys figure out, oh, yeah, we got to rob this bank. And they figure out a plan and they do it. And meantime, the cops all think it's this one dude. It's a movie that me and my dad would watch anytime we couldn't find a movie to watch. He's like, any new movies at the rental shop? And I'm like, no, they're all rented. He's like, go get that stupid crime movie again. We'll watch it. Over and over and over again. And I have it on streaming and I also have it on disc. It's not a great movie, but it's kind of good if you realize how much of it is sentimental. But maybe check it out one day. It's called. It's got Fred Gwynn in it. It's got Fred Gwynn in it.
Sure.
You know Fred Gwynn is?
Yeah.
He was,
they had a similar plot. They had a similar plot for it in the original Italian Job, which I saw with Michael Caine. And then when they did the reboot, which I believe has
Charlize.
Oh, yes, right. And both of them had the same. It's a European Job, but the guy who, backstabs him and and steals the stuff. And I think that. I think Jolie was in the reboot one, but she was getting revenge for her dad getting killed, and in the heist, and everything. So I mean, it's those are good. I like the Italian Job. We own them both. So
remember these, Mike? Masked figures.
Oh.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Mask
into a helicopter.
Oh my God! Mask. Oh yeah.
This turns into a helicopter, right?
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
You got the helicopter form. There it is as a helicopter.
I actually used to have that one.
Yeah, that was Condor, the most famous one.
Those guys in masks looked like they were guys that escaped from a radiation site or something.
It looks like Marty McFly in his radiation suit. And then there's Gromit. There's my Gromit that my girlfriend made.
Oh, well, it's a Gromit.
There was a mask toy I sold not too long ago. I think it was incomplete. And I want to say it was the one that raises up. It was a truck that raises up to form like a battle platform or something.
Yeah, that's Rhino. This is Feathers McGraw that she made for me from Ross and Gromit.
Nice.
So, great stuff. Oh, and
I missed all that claymation.
Spy. Here's my Spy versus Spy from Mad Magazine. Remember?
I remember Spy versus Spy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good
they
stuff.
did it on the Mad TV series. Did you ever get to see that? The Mad TV series?
Spy versus Spy. And then there's Quill from that Grimlock?
Yeah.
I love him. There's Quill from Mandalorian.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm jealous.
Those are just what I have on display in the car.
That's awesome.
You guys are such collector geeks, man. I don't even
awesome toys.
This is Quill from Mandalorian. You remember this, Daniel? Like he's just like
I have spoken. Yeah, the guy says I have spoken. Yeah.
Yeah. I got the bobblehead version of him. He's like a teeny little bobblehead.
Gizmo Duck. I got a Batmobile around there.
I got a Batmobile too. I got two.
My son's favorite, chicken jockey.
I can't find a Batman '89 Batmobile.
No, it's a Tumbler from Dark Knight Returns.
Cool.
I have Daniel. I have the '89.
This one.
Hot Wheels. I have the '89 Hot Wheels of the
cool.
Batman of the Batmobile. Yeah, I have the '89 Batmobile from
Yeah, Batman 89 is like the best Batman in my opinion.
Hot Wheels.
I really hope we see Michael Keaton back again after the Flash.
Yeah, but I mean, but Keaton, thing with the Flash was he looked so old. I mean, even reprising the Batman, I was happy he did, but he just looks so old. Daniel, I don't know if he could do another one.
I just don't get it why they had to put it. They had to set it in like 2013. They could have just set it in like modern day, right?
Yeah, right.
They said it in
because they needed the Flash's character to be young. That's why.
Yeah.
The Flash duplicate.
Yeah, but it's also because like Zod came to Earth in 2013 in Man of Steel, but they could have said Zod came to Earth on Earth 89, which is the Keaton verse, in like 2023.
Oh my gosh, there's the Enterprise.
I love that Enterprise. It's so cool.
That's so cool. Is that the original TOS?
This is the original. This is the original.
Nice.
I don't know why this light isn't working.
I'm so jealous of you, damn it. Man,
and then I got the original Batmobile. See?
I can see why Mercer.
I have a listing, 2 listings on the eBay store of multiple Batmobiles, the Hot Wheels ones.
Yeah.
I have the other Enterprise right here. I just gotta find it. So I dropped
the Vile, I was going to remind your audience, Mercer plays Jet Nerdy on Saturday nights, and he's obviously a geek. He loves Star Trek, and he does pretty well.
Oh no, Mercer's played my version of Jet Nerdy because John stole my title.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's
I'm the person who started it.
Okay.
Salty was doing it for a while too. There's the NX-01.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
But when Michael Crawford, the old anti-trekker / salty trekker, when he was doing it, it was with my permission. He asked to use the name.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I seem to remember that. So there's the NX-01. And last but not least for tonight, I have other stuff, is Cassian Andor's blaster.
Oh, nice.
Which
nice.
I'm trying to get on camera.
So nice.
It's also the same blaster that Kyle Katarn used from the expanded universe.
They use Mercer. They also use the form of that kind of phaser for Enterprise, for Scott Bakula and all that stuff. A form of that, and they also use the same form of that phaser for the Kelvin timeline with Christopher Pine when he was shooting the Romulans. He says, "I got your gun." Yeah. So yeah.
Now I remember when they were doing the Gorman scenes in season 2 of Andor, when he was assembling his sniper rifle, the base rifle was just his gun. He just added parts to it, which I thought was really cool.
Nice.
Very Megatron original mode, where it came with a stock and the scope and the extended barrel. Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed that when the riot started, it was those inexperienced imps that went out there, and one of the snipers took out one of the imps to make sure that a riot would start. That was pretty nasty of the Empire to do that.
Yeah, I did like that part.
Yeah, and just when the fight between Cyril and Cassian was epic. It was one of the best fights I've ever seen. They really beat the hell out of each other, and then Cassian just looks at him. He's like, "I don't even know who you are."
Yeah, I did. After watching it, I did kind of get the whole "Justice for Cyril" meme that was going through.
I want a Cyril action figure. That's all I want. Once I get a Cyril action figure, my life will be complete. Good night, Daniel. Good night, Mikey, and good night, Mike and Orson. Good night.
Later.
Good night.
Appreciate you guys.
Good night, Normal. Good night, Normal girl.
She's up there. She's still up there sleeping.
Yeah.
I wish I'd come down, but she's comfortable.
Well, I told you, Mercer, when you started talking, that was our younger girl, Deja Vu, was at my feet. She was listening to you. So, you know, they know your voice. Both our cats know your voice.
I wish.
All right, so let's. I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Daniel, you haven't been on for a while, so how about you choose what song we end the stream on? Do you know the ones I have?
No. What do you got?
Okay, I got. There's a lot of Klingon ones to start off with. So we have the Klingon drinking song, the Klingon style song, the Klingon opera, Klingon victory song, Klingon battle song, Klingon prison song, Klingon Dahar song. Then we have the Dr. Sunshine song, Dr. Opera song, Data Blue Sky song, and Data Lifeform song.
What the Klingon drinking song?
That was my choice as well. That was my choice as well. Yeah, I love the drinking song.
More singing, more voices.
Hail the Klingons, hoorah! Ejem tave deja I, ejam sotas gos vaskrar baitik, e pajaj la mojaj puj, jaj keles molon michok chu.
Buy something at SD GameSwap, or I'm going to put all of you in a cargo container and transport you to the Borg.
All right. Thanks for being here, guys. I've definitely had fun chatting with y'all.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
That was wonderful. Thanks again. Blessed and honored to be here. Kapla!
Kapla!